It is Monday morning, the 6th of June, 2022. This skid mark, I don't think will have a universal theme. In this skid mark, I'm just going to talk about some craziness that is happening in the world. The first thing that, for me, is important to take notice of, when you look at all the reports around the Ukrainian war and the West with all their weapon deliveries, you need to take note of something, and that is that slowly but surely over a period of 3 months, the West has basically disarmed themselves. They threw tons of weapons and ammunition into the Ukraine. The Russians destroyed most of it, captured a lot of it, but the reality on the ground is the West has depleted their own stocks. And then I read an article in which the military-industrial complex says that they will only be able to restock the West by 2026 because of material shortages and component shortages and who knows what. Bottom line is, the West has disarmed themselves. And then they have the audacity to keep on prodding the bear. I listened to a discussion where some military analysts were talking, and the one guy was adamant that if NATO should get involved with Russia in the same way that it's going in the Ukraine today, within 5 to 7 days NATO will be out of ammunition, nothing left. And then I read on some of the tweets, comments by people saying it is time for the US Air Force and NATO to start bombing Moscow and St. Petersburg. And I have one question. Do they really think that Russia will just sit back and allow those aircraft into their airspace without doing anything about it? They live in a fantasy world. It is more and more clear that if NATO should get involved heads-on with Russia, NATO will be pulverized. The problem that I have is the people in the West are looking at Putin and they focus all their hatred on him as a person. But for me, these emotional outbursts from the Western leaders reflects only one thing, and that is fear. They know they will not be able to match Russia, and that is something that they find extremely hard to devour. I am sure that we are seeing the collapse of the Western Empire right in front of our eyes. And as with all empires that falls, in the last days they are frantic because they are desperate to hold on to power. But it is futile. The West have to accept that their days as being the global superpower and the super bully and the super terrorist is over. There are 3 countries on the other side of the globe that are making strong demands for respect, and it is Russia, China and India. And between the 3 of them, they've got more than double the population, almost 3 times the population of what the collective West has. People need to get to their senses. America is evil, and they have proven it. Europe is a puppet of America, and the people of the EU is going to pay. At this point, the only country that has a chance of surviving this EU catastrophe is Hungary. And other European countries need to take note. I am sure that we are going to see governments fall in Europe very soon. Now the Germans say they're not going to supply tanks to Ukraine because they're scared those tanks lands up in Russia. They should be scared. I am absolutely astounded by Putin's patience. The West has lied to Russia for a long time. The West has treated Russia with no respect and with disdain. The question that one should look at and wonder about is, what is the EU going to do once this war is over? They divorced Russia, and I think we will see the EU crawling back to Russia, because the EU, Europe, cannot exist without Russian oil, gas, fertilizer, grain, and other vital important commodities needed for the EU industries. But the EU is a thing that needs to go. Nationalism must prevail. All people in the world are not the same. Cultural differences is a reality, and what we are seeing happening in Europe is frightening. Europeans, the citizens of Europe, is going to suffer severely. Fuel prices out of bounds, scarcity of food, and the winter is coming. They are going to struggle with cold. And unless there is a popular uprising that physically removes all this political elite from every seat of power, and if they don't do that, the European people is not going to survive. And you can call me what you like. I don't care. I'm an old guy sitting at the tip of Southern Africa, and I look and I see what is happening. And to me, the big thing is America is becoming aware of the fact that they have lost their position as the only global superpower. And now they struggle to make peace with that. And the chances are that they will lash out and try and take as many with them as they go down into that pit.